How much was the most expensive horse in history worth? What does the smallest horse look like? And how fast can a horse be? Watch the episode to the end to find out the answers to these questions and more. In this episode, I'll show you the most incredible record-breaking horses. Let's go! Phenomenal Frankel. This is the name of the legendary male horse that I'm about to talk about. The breed, which was given to him by the British, is the thoroughbred, or bred in perfection, and this perfectly characterizes this individual. You'll not believe how cool this horse looks and what he can do. The horse was once valued at $200 million, making him the most expensive horse in the world. Such a price was due to the fact that Frankel won literally every competition he took part in. The horse went so far that he even performed in front of the Queen of Great Britain, and he's already used to. He won there too. As experts stated, the whole secret of the horse was in his abilities obtained at birth. There was no special preparation. Unfortunately, the horse no longer takes part in races. The 14 victories he had during his career are more than enough for him. Thumbelina. While some horses grow up to be large and ready for any kind of physical activity, others will forever remain the little horses they were at a young age. I'm talking about a dwarf miniature horse named Thumbelina. This beauty is considered the smallest in the world. For her 17 years of life, she managed to grow up to only 17 inches, and she weighed 57 pounds. It's not known whether she would have been so tiny further on, but for some unknown reason, Thumbelina died in 2018. The owners decided to keep the reason a secret, organized a local funeral, and did not make it all public. Big Jake. Against the background of Thumbelina, it's interesting to look at a real giant of the horse world, born in 2000. Big Jake, the name of this handsome horse, was 6.8 feet tall. The Belgian draft horse was born to very ordinary parents, but his weight initially exceeded the norm. He was a large foal. Even then, they predicted a great future for him, but to be that big, nobody could even think about it. For years, Big Jake just kept growing. It took a bale of hay and a couple buckets of grain to feed him every day. At that rate, the horse's owners themselves would have nothing to eat, so they made the only right decision and sell the animal to their friends. This way, they were sure that nothing bad would happen to the horse. The Belgian draft horse reached the mark of 2,498 pounds of net weight and forced the new owners to make a special, custom-made stall for him. He simply didn't fit into a standard stable. As a result, people provided the horse with all the necessary things and constantly sent him to different shows. It was a nice source of income, and the horse liked the show as well. Big Jake died a natural death in 2021. Horses of this breed are notable for their special size, but at the same time, they're more susceptible to progressive diseases than others. Winning Brew. In nature, horses usually just walk, which allows them to reach speeds of 2 to 4 miles per hour. However, sometimes it's important for them to accelerate. It's vital. For example, if they're attacked by a predator. In this case, a horse can run at a speed of 12 plus miles per hour. In most cases, that would be enough to escape and stay in one piece. But our hero went even further. Apparently, he thought that this is not enough for a comfortable life and learned to run at a speed of 43 miles per hour. I'm talking about a record holder named Winning Brew, who at the race in Pennsylvania on May 14, 2008, accelerated to an incredible 43.9 miles per hour and kept up this pace for 1,312 feet. The horse was one of the thoroughbred riding horses that are unrivaled when it comes to racing. These horses are not surpassed in terms of speed. Their norm is to gallop at a speed of 0.6 miles per minute. At short distances, they accelerate to at least 37 miles per hour. However, such an amazing result is possible only if the horses are cared for by masters of their craft. Otherwise, the consequences may be unpredictable. Extraordinary world record. While some people try to measure the speed of their horses at races, others prefer more unconventional ways. For example, a challenge. Which horse and in what time will go distance of 33 feet on its hind legs faster than others? Against this backdrop, a new world record was set in Dubai. A horse named Desert has passed the distance of 33 feet faster than other individuals. This was immediately included in the Guinness Book of Records and made public. The horse covered the distance of 33 feet on his hind legs with an impressive speed, a little more than 9.21 seconds. To consider the challenge completed, the participants must not help the horses in any way. Don't call them, don't push them, and don't pull them in any direction while the performance. And here's what his owner said after the horse set the record. Desert is a 16-year-old pure Arabian horse. He was sent to us as a gift about a year ago and was loved by everyone around him. He has a very unique personality and is very energetic, playful, gentle, kind, and has a very big heart. Secretariat. This is the name of the legendary racehorse who was born on March 30th, 1970 in the United States and became famous for his incredible achievements in the sport. Secretariat was a stallion who raced from 1972 to 1973. He achieved incredible results, winning 16 races out of 21. Along with this, he also got the Triple Crown. Secretariat became the 9th horse in history to win the trophy. The Triple Crown, in case anyone didn't know, includes 3 famous U.S. races: the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness Stakes, and the Belmont Stakes. In each of these races, Secretariat managed to set a new record. His victory in the Belmont Stakes was especially outstanding, where he covered the 7,874 feet distance in 2 minutes and 24 seconds, which is still the record for that race. Secretariat was known for his unique running style, strong build, and incredible physical endurance. He left an indelible mark on racing history and is still considered one of the greatest horses of all time. People were so interested in him that even after the death of the record holder, they continued to study him. Thus, vets managed to find out that the horse's heart was 2.5 times bigger than that of the others. Moreover, this was not the result of disease. It's believed that this very fact helped the horse to achieve amazing success. Show jumping. When it comes to horse racing, it's hard for people to imagine all the work that horses do. However, when it comes to show jumping, you can imagine yourself in the shoes of an athlete and dive headfirst into the record. The highest show jumping in history is Fred Weddick's jump on his horse King's Own. The pair managed to rise above the ground to a height of 8.3 feet. The story of this couple began in 1920 when the man accidentally bought some Irish horse. Fred quickly realized that he had a great future because already at a young age, King's Own could easily jump over almost any obstacle or barrier. Not much time passed, and Fred decided to gather all his friends to show him the fruits of his labors. People thought that the horse would jump 5 feet, or 6 feet, but the man set the bar at 8.2 feet and coped with it. However, it was never officially documented because there were only 25 people present at that moment, and all of them were friends of the author of the record. Amazing Endo. While some horses try to jump over higher and higher barriers, seeing success and fame before them, others see nothing, literally and figuratively. Yes, as sad as it may sound, there are some completely blind horses in the world, like this horse named Endo. However, he was blind not from a young age, but from the age of 8. Nevertheless, because of the kind owners and the right approach, he's grown quite strong and powerful. Usually, when you close your eyes, you can't even walk to the next room without hitting some corner, let alone running. But Endo, on the contrary, having no eyesight, managed to set a world record called highest free jump by a blind horse. The horse's result was 3.5 feet. Now he's more than 20 years old, and he can do everything that other horses can do, despite the complete lack of eyesight. He's helped by his owner's commands and his excellent horse sense. What a tale! I suggest not stopping at the sad part and switching to something more cheerful and positive, like, for example, this horse named Linus. It's believed that this horse has the longest mane and the longest tail in history. He was born back in 1884. His characteristic feature, in addition to a long mane and tail, was a unique chestnut color. This handsome horse walked around the street and constantly attracted the attention of others, but there was no less attention from the owner of Linus. The fact is that such a long mane with a tail required the most careful care. The owner had to comb and wash the horse every day. In order for the mane not to get tangled, it was divided into 4 parts and collected in bundles, but even despite such measures, it's still tangled. Linus died in 1894, but before his death, he managed to leave an offspring, Linus II, who proved to be as handsome and unusual as his father. Which of these horses did you like the most? Let me know in the comments. And now, let's relax a bit and look at some hilarious animal moments caught on camera. Bears may be a lot closer than you think. This footage shows a bear entering a private property and taking an interest in a chicken coop. At first, it was just studying it, and then it started gnawing on it and trying to open it. This was not successful, and the bear moved away. With the second approach, progress was made. It gradually began to destroy the chicken coop, as suddenly it was afraid of something and ran away. It turned out that the owner of the house and the chicken coop saw the bear on the camera and frightened it with a scream. This was enough to discourage the bear from attacking the chickens. And here's another bear. The homeowner suspected that bears often came to his property and hid under the porch, as there were bitten beams and footprints. He set a camera there, and his fears were confirmed. He now knows that bears are frequent guests at his house. But how will he deal with it? And here's another guest. No bear this time. This lizard was the curious visitor. It began to examine the CCTV camera installed into the doorbell. It licked it several times, stopped to see where it would lead, but realized it was pointless. Well, now at least it'll know what a camera and doorbell are. In general, doorbell cameras are set to see who has come to the house. They can also catch burglars and thieves. Speaking of thieves, in this video they broke into the house. 2 cheeky magpies got inside and started strutting around the kitchen. The pets suffered the most from these thieves, as the birds brazenly pecked at their food. After a little refreshment, the magpies left the house. Okay, let them eat pet food. But animals don't just get into houses for that. For example, here a CCTV camera caught 2 dogs. The accomplices approached the house with a clear plan. One stood guard and watched the witnesses, and the other was pulling the job. The dark dog snatched a toy spider. It was a Halloween decoration. As soon as the job was done, the tailed criminals ran away. They did everything almost perfectly, but they didn't take care of the camera. Now they'll be put on the dog's wanted list. I think those dogs are going to share a cell with this raccoon. The thief was doing his thing right in front of the security camera. It didn't realize it'd be spotted because it didn't know the camera had night vision mode. The raccoon decided to pull off a big job. It stole an entire bag of cat food that weighed 29 pounds. By the way, raccoons themselves usually weigh less than 20 pounds. But that didn't stop the raccoon. Gradually, it dragged the bag of food farther and farther away, and soon it hid under the porch. Or maybe it was bringing food to that bear that likes to live under the porch. If so, we've solved the case. I gotta say, that raccoon did great work. Lugging a heavy bag like that all by itself is pretty cool. But not all raccoons are so agile and strong. For example, here the camera caught a very clumsy predator. The chubby raccoon saw the camera and really wanted to get to it, but it couldn't get on the table. It tried to approach from different sides and angles, tried to pull itself up or climb the table with the help of a wall, but nothing worked. Eventually, the raccoon just gave up and started to walk away. But so that people would not think that it was a weakling, it demonstrated its power by easily climbing up the vertical beam. Maybe the tables are just not his specialty. A guy and a girl spent a romantic evening in the pool. Nothing foretold trouble, and suddenly an alligator decided to join them. The dangerous reptile flew into the pool at full speed and, of course, frightened the guy and the girl. The guy immediately jumped out, and the reptile tried to attack the girl. The attack was successful. The alligator caught the girl a bit, but fortunately she managed to get out. Her injuries were not serious, and she's fine. And what about the alligator? I don't know what happened to it, but at least for a while the pool was only at its disposal. The owners of this house were clearly shocked when they saw the broken door. I'm sure they were beginning to think there were burglars in the house, but when they saw the security camera footage, everything fell into place. Turns out it was a bear that broke in. Look how easily it kicked the door in. And notice how the bear held it. It doesn't seem to be the first time it's done this. The bear wasn't interested in anything in the house. It left literally 5 seconds after it got inside. I think he was just checking to see if anyone was home. Sometimes CCTV cameras capture something unusual and even mysterious. In this case, I'm talking about a strange beast. Look at how this something ran under the camera at a tremendous speed. Because of this, it's hard to understand what exactly it was in the first place. There are many assumptions: wild cat, raccoon, coyote, and even a rabbit. What do you think? Which creature did the camera capture? One of them or a mystical creature at all? Share your thoughts in the comments. Traffic cameras are needed to record violations, but it's not always possible. For example, a seagull could cover the camera. The bird sat like that for quite a long time, and during this time, drivers on the left side of the highway could violate as much as they wanted. The camera would hardly identify the violator. The owl did the same thing, by the way, only it chose not a busy section of the road with no cars. It seems that it just wanted a moment of attention and fame on the internet, and it got it. It's not uncommon to install CCTV cameras in homes in order to be able to keep an eye on pets. People have known about it for a long time, but for pets, it's an incomprehensible device. No wonder this dog reacted the way it did when it heard its owner's voice through the camera. It began to turn its head and try to understand how it's even possible. How is its owner communicating with it through this thing? Or maybe it thought that the owner had turned into a camera and would stay that way forever. All in all, its mind was blown. Some dogs, on the contrary, have already learned to use the benefits of technology. This dog, named Lucy, is very independent. She opens the door herself to go for a little walk around the neighborhood, but she can't go back inside. But she's learned to use the doorbell. Lucy rings the doorbell, and her owner opens the door for her. CCTV cameras in the house can also show what our beloved pets do in our absence. A dachshund and a husky live here. When their owner leaves, the dachshund just rests quietly, but the husky starts to go crazy. It stands on the poof or sofa and starts barking. Toward the end of the video, the husky started howling as if it wanted to become a wolf or a werewolf. And someone is more interested in spending time in a human way, so to speak. These two bulldogs love to watch movies with animals and react to them. No matter if a cat or dogs are shown on TV, the dogs start barking and try to shout at them through the screen. Usually, if there are two pets living in a house, they get closer, start to become friends, and help each other. But here we have a completely different situation. The cat saw the dog chewing on the TV remote and pointed the camera at it to set the dog up. Now the owners will know for sure that the cat had nothing to do with it and that the dog is to blame. It's no secret that dogs wait for their owners at home and are very happy when they finally return. Cats do it too, but as if without the same enthusiasm. However, there are exceptions. This cat heard the sound of the opening door, went to the entrance, and very warmly greeted its beloved owner. The cat laid down at his feet, asked the owner to take it out his arms, stretched out, and happily put its belly. This is the highest degree of trust. Animals also want to be beautiful, like people, and are ready to do a lot for the sake of beauty. For example, here we see an ordinary barbershop. An employee is cutting a man's hair, another client's waiting, and suddenly a third client appears. A deer literally flew into the salon through the glass, shattered it to pieces, and scared everyone. For some time, the deer remains behind the camera. Suddenly, sounds are heard again, and it appears. The horned creature took her straightener and escaped. Apparently, the deer is a professional barber itself, so it can handle it on its own. These deer are not at all as rambunctious as their congener from the previous video. They don't want to be in a hurry or aggressive at all. They just want to be with each other. The camera captures something of a kiss between the deer. Besides, one of them is courting the other, sniffing and checking its fur. It's cute. When the owners of this CCTV camera received a notification of movement near the camera, I'm sure they didn't expect it to be a snake. The slithering creature climbed higher and appeared from above. I hope it crawled away and didn't hurt anyone, because sometimes this can happen. In this footage, the man returns to his home, nothing portends trouble, everything's calm, when suddenly a snake appears and bites his eye. It was really unexpected. Well, at least the snake turned out to be non-venomous, and the bite wasn't very powerful, so everything ended fine. And this surveillance camera apparently stands idle. Nothing special happens in this place. The camera's not much needed, so the spider thought to take this place for its cobweb. In the speeded up video, we can see the process of creating a beautiful cobweb. It only took the spider about 20 minutes to build its trap here. And here's its conjure. It decided to go even further and weaved a real work of art. Look how big and beautiful the cobweb is. Now the spider has only to wait until some insect arrives to take a look at this work. That's all, guys. Which moment did you like the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you later.